What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to check out Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout from Big Potato. This is for ages 14 plus. For 3+ players, it'll take about 30 minutes to play, and it'll take you about 2 minutes to learn, they like to say, which is always a good thing. But in case you couldn't guess, Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout is a trivia-based party game where you're going to split up into 2 teams and try to get 5 different bottles of liquor in a Family Feud-esque, not quite, but a Family Feud-esque game. Is it good, though? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think about it. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout. First and foremost, we're going to get a handy-dandy rule booklet. This is really all you're going to need right here. It should have you up and running in no time at all. It's a very simple game. Also on the back, they have a very interesting story about how this game came to be, which, if it's true, is actually pretty interesting. So in Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout, you're going to break up into 2 different teams, and you're going to be having, well, a quiz shootout, trying to be the first team to collect 5 different kinds of liquor. The different liquors are on the back of the cards. If you're the first team to do that, then you are going to win the game. So, when you first start the game, one person is going to need to be Mr. Lister. This person will not be on either team. They will actually be the judge, pretty much. They're going to get this fancy little pencil with a pencil top right here and the scorecard. Also, if no one wants to be Mr. Lister for the whole game, you can just really alternate who is Mr. Lister. So one time someone from Team A is Mr. Lister, then one time someone from Team B is Mr. Lister. Go back and forth. It really doesn't matter how you choose to do it. So, each of the teams is going to get their own little pad of paper where they're going to be jotting down their ideas. And when Mr. Lister is ready, he's going to grab the top card of the deck and he's going to read it out loud. So it says, the Huffington Post named the nation's top 10 pizza toppings. List them. So how this works is, both teams are now going to be listing what they think might be the top 10 pizza toppings. And generally how this works is, in order to be completely safe, you want to have at least 6 toppings, because each team is going to get 3 guesses. Doesn't matter if they get them all wrong or they're all right, you're going to guess 3 times. So, wow, what am I doing? Pizza. So we might say sausage, and you're going to be doing this kind of quietly. We might say pepperoni. Somebody might say cheese, and we say, oh yeah, duh, cheese. And then somebody might say, wow, you can't spell. Someone might say olives, and someone's like, no, I don't think olives. I think we should go bacon first. And someone will put bacon. And then, really, depending on how long or short amount of time Mr. Lister wants to give them, Mr. Lister will say, all right, we're ready, let's roll. So, how this works is, Team A, who's going to go first this game, is going to be the first team to read off one of their answers. So they would say sausage. And so Mr. Lister would say, yes, sausage is correct. So they get a little fill in the blank here. The next team would be like cheese. And they'd be like, ooh, cheese, cheese, cheese. Cheese is not on here. Oh, extra cheese. And they'd be like, this is where Mr. Lister comes into play. Do I want to give you extra cheese or do I want to give you none? And Mr. Lister would be like, all right, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you cheese, but it says extra cheese. All right, so the next time, this person would be like, all right, so we already said sausage, pepperoni. And he'd be like, yes, pepperoni. So he'd fill that in. And the next one, this one would be like, let's see, olives. So he'd look down here and say, oh, you know what? I gave you the benefit of the doubt last time because I gave you cheese instead of extra cheese, but I'm not going to give you black olives. This is all up to Mr. Lister. He's like, I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt 2 times. It's not exactly olives. The next person would be like, bacon. And this team would be like, yeah, bacon's on there. And then this team could guess one more time, but honestly, it doesn't really matter because Team A has won. So Team A has gotten all 3 correct, which is nice. Team B only got 1 correct, or maybe they guessed something else correct, so they would get 2 correct. But Team A would be rewarded this card, and they would be handed this card. So they now have 1 of the 5 types of liquor they would need to win the game. You're going to rinse, wash, and repeat, continuing to do this. But this next turn, Team B is going to be the team that gets to answer first. Because that does give you a slight advantage because you might take away an obvious answer first. So, there are 7 different bill denominations in the classic Monopoly game. List them. So, let's do a different scenario. Let's say Team A gets 2 correct and Team B gets 2 correct. What happens when it's a tie? Well, that's when you go to last chance saloon. So, this is where Mr. Lister is going to ask 1 question, and both teams are going to have a chance to answer, and then they reveal at the same time. So how many green houses are in a box of Monopoly? So this is really more of a guessing game. This guy might say like 24, and this guy might say 30. So we reveal at the same time, we say it is 32, which means this team would be the closest, and they would now have this bottle of liquor. So you're going to do this until one team has 5 bottles of liquor. But as you can see, there are repeat bottles of liquor that you can potentially get. Here's how this works. If you ever get 2 of the same bottle of liquor, if you would like to, you can trade those in, and then Mr. Lister will confiscate one of the bottles from the other team. Likewise, if you ever get 3 bottles of the same type, you can trade them in for any 1 bottle of a type you like. So there's a little bit of set collection there, but honestly, you probably don't want to be getting 3 of a kind. You'd rather get 3 different ones. But that, in a nutshell, is how Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout is played. Alrighty then, Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout from Big Potato. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, this is a pure and simple trivia game. If you're really, really good at trivia, then you have a higher chance of winning this game. There's not really too much you can do to mitigate that, at least in this game. So, if you don't like trivia games, this one is probably not going to be for you. Also, some of the questions, the questions are all over the board, which is a good thing, I personally think. But some of them, you're just going to be like, I have no clue. You know, especially if you have a smaller team, you'd be like, we have no clue whatsoever. And that is unfortunate. That's just the nature of a beast of a trivia game, though. So we can just kind of chalk that up to being part of the trivia game category. Also, you will run into the frustration of when you get like 2 or 3 of the same type of liquor. Like if you win 3 cards and they're all just the same type of liquor, you're like, are you kidding me? This is dumb. I wish there was just a little bit more variety of liquor and less of the special abilities that you could do. I also don't like, I'm not a particularly big fan of the take that of, hey, we have 2 of a kind, so now you lose 1 of your liquor. So that's meh. Also, somebody has to be Mr. Lister, and as I mentioned, you can alternate between teams, but the way that it's supposed to be played, the way that it's designed to play is that one person is permanently Mr. Lister, and I personally just don't think that would be very fun for most people to just be the judge, because really all you're doing is just reading the questions out and then deciding if people get the answer correct. But I guess some people do enjoy that. My wife actually enjoyed being the judge, so what the hell do I know? Any other cons I have with the game? There's no real strategy to it. I mean, you just trivia. It's trivia. That's the biggest con I have with the game. But moving on to the pros, if you like trivia, I think you're going to enjoy this game. So I know this game is coming to Target, and I will say it like this. I feel like this is the kind of game that just should be in Target. I feel like this is the kind of game where if you know you're having a big get together, you don't have any games at your house, and you're like, I want a trivia game that's going to accommodate a lot of people, Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout is a perfectly fun little game that I think will probably go over well with everybody at your group. Now, that being said, I do wish that there was a way that you could play with 3 teams instead of 2 teams, which is feasible, but some of the answers only have like 6 or 7, or some of the questions only have like 6 or 7 answers. But that would be nice, so I wish they would have included that as an option with maybe an extra notepad, but we're talking about the pros. Moving on to the pros, I like the variety of questions. There are tons and tons and tons of question cards. I don't foresee you running into the same question over and over again. I like the last chance saloon a lot. I really like that concept. And I think we've had probably like 20 or 30 last chance saloons. We've never had a tie. Those questions are very, they're very difficult, but you can normally guesstimate, and I like that aspect. I mean, overall, Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout is exactly what you think it is. It is a perfectly serviceable trivia game, light trivia party game. If that's what you're in the market for, then by all means, check it out. It's a perfectly fun game. If that's not what you're in the market for, this is not going to convince you otherwise. So Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout, probably not one I'm going to be playing too much in the future, but if you're in the market for a trivia game, this might be right up your alley. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know if you ran a bar, what would your drink be? What would be the one drink? I don't know why I air quoted that. What would be the drink? What would you name your drink that everybody requests? They go up there like, hey, Jimmy John, let me get this drink. For me personally, it'd be the Power Bower. It's terrible. Can I get a Power Bower? That really sounds like something you'd pick. Okay. Yeah, this is terrible. That's why my bar closed down and I lost all my money and my wife left me. Thanks, Power Bower. But let me know in the comments below. What would be the name of your drink? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.